her rules were when we tried to have an agreement, but she disrespected my rules, so I disregarded her rules when she disregarded the rules too. It was to take before you had company, but she had her friends, a part of her little organization, come over while I was asleep, and it was like over 10 of them, and they were loud. And I didn't say anything, I didn't report it, I didn't have a problem, but she wants me to text her when I have company and I have over less than 10 people. Because in our lease it states you can't have over more than 10 people because that's considered like a gathering or a small gathering. But that was basically her problem. Um, I received threats from my roommate. She put her hands on me.
Yeah, but what does the roommate have to do with the landlord?
Because these are where the complaints are coming from. She was friends with one of the other roommates that were in our apartment. I stayed in D, she stayed in C, and the girl that's filing for me to be evicted, those two, they stayed in B and C. So they were cool. I didn't talk to the one in C, so I don't really know what was told to her. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't even know she had a problem. Like we never had a text to where she said I was too loud. That's another thing we agreed on. Like if somebody was too loud, we would text in the group chat, say something, or they were knock on the door. Nobody ever talked to me or approached me about anything. So I'm really confused.
You're confused about what?
Their problem, because I wasn't aware. It was never brought to my attention at all that they had a problem or it was a problem with anything I was doing.
Is your roommate still there?
She actually just filed for a PPO, and I was told by the police officers and an advised lawyer to bring us up in court too. She filed a PPO saying she was scared for her life, but last Tuesday, she poured Lysol, Pine Sol, Fabuloso, and cinnamon all over my dishes.
So,
And I got the bag too. And then, yeah, it's
well, hold on a second. Your roommate has filed for a PPO as against you?
and she filed to break her lease. Yes, saying that I assaulted her.
Ma'am, just answer my question. She filed for a PPO as to you. Has there been a hearing on that? Have you requested a hearing on that?
I was going to the police station today to ask them how to do that.
I take it, Ms. Kazari, by the look on your face, you were unaware of that.
No, I am aware of the PPO.
Were you?
Yeah, there is a PPO that's been entered in September, I believe. And I'm not aware of, so the other roommate has been temporarily relocated to another unit, but at this.
So you guys have done that?
We've done that temporarily.
Got it.
But there's been continuous issues. I spoke with Miss Darby. There's been continuous issues with other things since the altercation between the two women.
So, okay, so maybe I need to follow one thing here. If the roommate has been temporarily housed at another unit, how did what you're claiming happen?
What do you mean? She's coming in and out of the house still. She still has access to the house. That's what I'm saying. Like they didn't investigate these claims against me from her or the other roommate.
Well, how do you know it's her?
Because she told me. And
Who
she
did?
wrote a note saying she put that right
Who
there.
told? Who is she?
Her name's Andrene, the roommate. Andrene. She told me she did this. I don't have the letter present, but she did write a note saying you need to properly dispose of your grease. She thought it was grease to her statement, but Fabulosa don't smell like grease to me. Or cinnamon.
So how many roommates are there?
There's 4. A, B, C, and D. I'm D.
So from the landlord, what are the other roommates saying?
So
Are there-
right now there's 2 roommates. They're still there. It's just Miss Darby and one other roommate. They're complaining. So at this point, plaintiff is looking for a move out date from Miss Darby. We're willing to do it in a conditional order of dismissal, you know, give her some time, but that's plaintiff's position.
Okay.
I told the police this too. It's in my report. I went to the office or called the office so many times to make complaints too. It's just that the same excuse is, oh, Jane's not here. Jane can't answer the phone. Jane's on lunch. The police officer said himself that.
Let me ask you one thing.
Okay.
If do you want to move or no?
I'm sorry. Like, I'm emotional, but this is like my only way of school. And it's like the claims that are being put against me, I'm not that type of person. I'm like currently going.
That's not what the issue is.
I know, I'm saying like the complaint she has going like on me, they're complaining about trash, parties. I'm a person that typically stays to myself in my room.
Ma'am, that's not the question I'm asking.
I answered it. I said, no, this is my only way for me to be in school, and it's interfering with my school. I'm supposed to be in class right now, but I have to deal with this.
Hey, lady, what did you want to tell me? What?
Oh, I witnessed it. Like I come over.
Where do you reside there or
I
no?
stay on campus somewhere else. But
You stay on campus someplace else. You're students at Eastern?
yes.
Okay. And you stay on campus elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay. And what you would have to tell me is what you've seen happen.
And like stuff she said.
Pardon? And stuff that this other person has said.
Yeah. Well, I don't really understand.
Okay, so have you challenged the PPO? I mean, if it was issued sometime in September, you've had notice of it.
No, I just got served. What was it? Sunday? I just got served Sunday. I think it was because the officer told me like a lot of stuff, like my police report still didn't go through prosecution yet because they changed their systems and it wouldn't be up to November 1st.
Your Honor, just for clarification, it looks like the PPO was entered October 8th.
Okay, so
I'm not sure when it was served.
okay. What year are you in school?
This is my second year, my sophomore year.
Okay. So your freshman year, where did you reside?
I stayed in a dorm hall, but I had a suite mate that broke in my room. That's why I moved to Penn Place, so I can have my own room, my own space, and my own bathroom.
Okay. And I'm presuming that you're going to stay, you're looking to certainly stay somewhere in the area through graduation and 2 more years or whatever, right? Okay. So I mean, the semester's coming down to an end, right? So, and you tell me why it may not be this way, but wouldn't it behoove you to try to locate someplace to move? And here's the reason I'm saying. If we're set for a final settlement conference today, but if I set this for trial, then I certainly will listen to everything. But if it doesn't go your way, right, then what ends up happening is you could potentially end up getting evicted in the middle of finals, whenever they are, because I'd set a relatively quick trial in this matter. And then end up in a circumstance where you have that judgment and then trying to get yourself into someplace else is going to be a problem. You follow what I'm saying? So outside of that, you then have this PPO issue, which, I'm not sure on your exact timeframes for, well, if you were just served with it, then you should still have some time in which to file for a hearing on it. But you've got that issue. So it's sometimes it's okay to be, at least in your mind, right. But then sometimes you got to put yourself in a good spot. You follow me?
I understand that, but if I'm to move, I don't go to school. Like, I would have to drop right now. I don't
Well-
have like family that stays out here. I don't have the transportation to go with my sister all the way in the city and then come all the way back up here every day for school. That's just not in my, it can't work.
Okay, I hear you. And
Mhm.
what I'm indicating is when are finals?
They're the week of like December 14th.
Like every other college student, you have no idea how many finals you have, right?
No,
That's okay. I got one of you at home, so they don't know when your finals are. Not right now. They will later on. How many classes are you taking right now?
6.
6. So let me ask you this. Okay. If you had to move, okay, so we're going to deal with hypotheticals at this point because I'm not ruling anything. But if you had to move, what would be the most convenient time for you to try to do that?
When the semester ends.
Okay. So you say that they start on the 14th or?
The 15th. Well, it's the week of the 14th. That's all I'm aware of. It's the week of the 14th.
Okay. And all through that week. Right, because then you're going to come down to the 22nd, you're going to be on break at that point. Right? Okay. Curiosity, what are you studying to be when you grow up?
A nurse.
A nurse? What is plaintiff's position from a move out standpoint?
Authority for 30 days.
What's the day before?
Yes.
But not for 40? I mean, so here's the thing. If you got authority for that, if 30 days from now would put her at December 5th, Ms. Gazari, you've been probably before me enough to know that kids in their education, that's important to me. I'm not going to put her out before the time that she at least gets to finish the semester. She's got 6 classes, and that's really where her focus needs to be, to finish that and find a place to get herself moved into and figure out how she's going to do next semester.
I understand your.
Okay. So, ma'am, let me ask you this. If I told you, and we do it in, so So let me explain everything, okay, so that it's clear. That we would do a move out date, I think 17, 18, 9 of December 19th. Okay. And we do it in the form of a conditional dismissal. So that it doesn't look like you were evicted. It would just be a dismissal of this case. Get that? So that you apply someplace else, you were evicted. So dismissal. All right. That does a couple of things. One, it stops you from having to go through a trial where you're trying to take 6 classes and do whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. So what would happen to my roommates and, well, all my roommates if all these claims are false? And does the other roommate, if she actually put her hands on me and we still have to wait on that case?
Okay, listen, that's not the issue that's before me right now.
Mhm.
Okay. What's before me right now is what are your activities? Okay. Now, like I said, if you want to have a trial on it, we can have a trial. I can set it for a trial. But what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a circumstance that if I set a trial, then you're going to be distracted in terms of a trial while you're trying to finish up your semester. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep asking questions or
No, it's
making
okay.
statements, but I get that it's going to affect me at the end, but it's affecting me now, like emotionally,
So
physically.
what do you want me to do?
And I reported it to
What do you want me to do? Because the reality is I don't have to go through this process. What I can do is I can just set a trial.
Mhm.
Everybody's going to show up here. I can just make a ruling. If that ruling goes against you, then what's going to end up happening? And let me just give you a scenario that could potentially happen. If we're at final settlement conference right now, if I set trial for either the 18th of November or December 2nd, and you lose at trial, the eviction date at the latest would be December 12th. December 14th, your exams start. Follow me? I mean, sometimes, young lady, and the thing you're going to have to learn is maybe there are the decision that you may have to make isn't the decision that you want to make, but you may make a decision to put yourself in the safest possible scenario.
That means me giving up school. I can't give up.
Did I say that? Are you
I'm-
listening to anything I'm saying?
No, I'm telling you my situation. If I go back home, I can't go to school. That's the reason why I came up here, for me to go to school. I can't go to school back home.
Young lady, I didn't say anything about you having to go back home. Did I?
You asked me for,
Here's,
I mean, you.
ma'am, stop.
Okay.
You need to take your hand off your hip, sit down in that chair. Because part of your problem right now is you're not listening. You've got one direction headed in your head as to something, and you're not listening to anything that I'm saying. And when I say something, you're so worried about these other people and not worried about yourself. Everything that I have said and I'm gonna take a break in a moment so you can spit that gum out. Everything that I've said is an attempt to try to preserve your education and your ability to make it through the semester. You don't seem to want to see that or hear that because all you want to do is be right. Well, you can be right and uneducated all you want because all I'm trying to do is get you through the semester. I'm giving you scenarios that if you choose one option, you could end up in an eviction in the middle of the semester going into finals. And so what good does it do you if all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're in the middle of an eviction and fail 6 classes? You can get rid of that gum. I will come back shortly. Court's going to stand in recess. All right. Have you seen it?
you had testified about a number of acronyms, right? All these American Association of Forensic Science and things like that. You remember that testimony, ma'am?
Yes.
Are you actually a member of any of those organizations?
OSAC.
OSAC, you're a member of OSAC, okay. The other ones, no?
No.
So you just Googled their training standards off the internet, or?
Let me correct. I'm an OSAC implementer, so I report to NIST the OSAC standards that I implement under my business.
Okay. The others you have no direct affiliation with?
No.
Okay. It's true, isn't it, Ms. Pescador, that if I pulled up the OSAC standards or the SWIG dog standards, there's nothing in there that prevents burping a vehicle prior to a search, correct?
True.
And it's true, isn't it, Ms. Pescador, that there's nothing in the standards that requires a handler to videotape or photograph a search, correct?
Not that I recall.
Okay. In fact, your own, you're affiliated with Peace River, correct?
Correct.
And their website even says, a search is not merely walking around and permitting the dog to randomly sniff an area. It involves careful fact-gathering analysis.
Down when you read, please.
I'm so sorry. It involves careful fact-gathering analysis and appropriate use of tools that are employed to make existing odor available for detection by the dog. Some of the tools that might be employed to increase the availability of odor include probing/venting rods, power tools, a machete, a boat, etc. Correct?
Correct.
That is acceptable practice, correct?
Depends on the environment.
Okay. So let's talk about that environment. You compiled the list. Do we have 610? Could you please display 610?
Sure.
Page 1 or page 2?
Page 1, please. Start at the top. All right, so you compiled this list, correct, Ms. Pescador?
Correct.
You have good recollection of these cases as you sit here now?
Which cases?
The cases you wrote in this list.
I'm familiar with the list. I'm not familiar with all of the case details of each vehicle in this list.
Okay. You would agree with me that these vehicles, at least by case number, go back to 2016, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, we had a lot of discussion the other day. You weren't here, but we had discussion about case number, and I'm looking at the number in the left-hand column. It's W200-32248. You see that one? It's about number 5 on the list for the moped.
Yes.
You see that, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And what is the date in the column there? What is that supposed to represent?
The date, 2020, 5/12/2020.
Yes, what does that represent?
The date of the vehicle accident.
And that's something you compiled, right?
That is what I have, yes.
Okay. Would it surprise you to know that collision actually occurred in 2007?
Is that, could you clarify what you're asking me?
Sure. Would it surprise you to know that the collision involving the moped actually occurred in 2007?
That is the date of the vehicle, 2020. Is that
Ma'am.
what you're saying?
No, ma'am. The date of the hit, this was a hit and run fatal injury, right?
Yes.
Somebody on a moped was struck and died, right?
Yes.
It's a cold case. We never solved it, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Goes back to 2007, correct?
That's what you're telling me?
Are you arguing with me?
No, I'm not.
Okay. You wrote down 2020, but it's really June 8 of 2007, correct?
I don't have that information in front of me.
Okay.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay.
I'll trust you.
All right. And you'd agree with me that the driver of the moped was actually ejected, landed some distance away from the moped, had no direct contact with the moped at the time of his or her death.
I don't have that information.
But that'd be important to know, wouldn't it?
All I have is that it was a fatal crash hit and run.
Right, but you're saying, hey, look, this moped was in this barn and there's somebody died on this moped, when in fact nobody died on that moped, correct?
For the moped,
Yeah,
I'm not going to dispute that.
okay.
All I have is involved in a hit and run fatal crash.
You would agree with me, and I don't know, maybe you don't know this. Doesn't sound like it's maybe in your area of history and experience, but would you disagree with the concept that vast majority of cases involving motorcycles or mopeds, when a driver of such vehicle is struck, they are frequently ejected? They don't remain with the bike, correct?
I'm very familiar with that.
Okay. You would agree with me, the first one on the list from 2016, the driver on that motorcycle was ejected, correct? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The next one on the list, that person was not dead on scene. In fact, the vehicle that is listed there, the Ford Taurus, struck another vehicle. The person who died was a pedestrian, right? You actually do list that as a pedestrian, correct?
Pardon, can you please repeat that question?
Sure. So the vehicle, the Ford Taurus, what's your recollection of the involvement of the Taurus in the accident?
It's a fatal crash versus a pedestrian. That's the information I have.
You have the entire police report, right?
I only have parts of this.
I'm sorry?
I only have partial information.
On your chart, right? But when you made the chart, when you compiled the chart, you had the entire packet of police reports. Like this, right?
Not all of it.
What was missing?
I only have partial information of the police reports
Who'd you get the police reports from?
from the attorneys.
And you think they only gave you half the information you needed?
That's all I have is partial information from the vehicle histories in these accidents.
Okay. That Taurus never struck that pedestrian directly. Do you know that? There was another vehicle involved?
I don't recall.
Do you remember the pedestrian was a good Samaritan who stopped to fix a flat tire?
I remember that.
And the Taurus hit the vehicle with the flat tire, and the flat tire tragically ran over that good Samaritan who was changing the flat tire,
I remember that.
right? Most of these cases, and you've testified, you don't know which of these vehicles. You've only documented the vehicles involved in the collisions, right?
Correct.
You can't tell us for sure this vehicle was in that barn that day.
I stated that.
Okay. And would you agree with me that oftentimes, for an investigation or a prosecution, it's the striking vehicle, the person that's at fault, right, that is prosecuted, right?
Correct.
And that's the vehicle we would keep.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. And the vehicle where the victim died maybe has less relevance to an investigation.
So in my state, it may be different,
Okay?
but where there is death involved with the vehicle, that vehicle is also taken.
Okay. What about Wisconsin?
I'm not familiar with Wisconsin.
Okay. You would agree with me, though, that as we go through this list, and we can go through every one of them, but it seems like that would be redundant. First of all, there's vehicles here where there was no death, right?
Serious injury.
Okay. Where do you see that?
Injury accident.
Okay. You would agree that there's a difference between a serious injury and an injury accident, correct?
Correct.
Okay. There's vehicles on here that were stolen or involved in high-speed chases, or correct?
Correct.
Had absolutely nothing to do with anybody being injured to any extent, correct?
Correct.
And yet you put them on this list, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And let's talk about the two vehicles that, oh, wait, I'm sorry, before we move on. Could you please scroll down to the bottom of page 2, the second to last entry? Okay. You see the last one there? I'm sorry, the second last one, I apologize, because Mr. Wolf added one, which we're not disputing. The second to last one, right? You listed a date of 9/19/2022, correct?
Correct.
What happened in that case?
It's fatal versus pedestrian, and there was tissue in the engine bay.
Okay. When did that occur?
I am relying on the information provided to me, which is 9/19/2022.
What time?
I don't have the time.
Okay. What time was the search done on 9/19/2022 by Investigator Willis?
I don't remember the exact time of that. It's in my report.
It's about 9:30 in the morning, wasn't it?
It was morning.
Okay. That last collision actually occurred about 7 o'clock in the evening on the 19th of September, correct? Does that sound familiar to you?
I don't recall. It's in my report if I wrote that one in. If I included that in my report, then there would be a time.
Okay. Well, it's in your list, right?
Is this in my table? I don't recall if I included that one in my table.
The one from 9/19 of 2022? Go ahead and look. Do you have your report in front of you?
Yes, ma'am. I can look.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
So if that collision happened at 7 o'clock in the evening, it was not in the pole barn at 9:30 in the morning when Investigator Willis did his search, correct?
Correct.
You should not have included that on this list, correct?
It was provided to me for inclusion, so I included it.
You didn't notice that there's no way this vehicle could have even been in the barn at the time of the search?
The time for that was not given to me, so I would not have known to not include that.
You didn't get a very basic police report with a date and time that that collision occurred?
The time was not included in that information.
What did you get? What materials did you get?
I was provided a large amount of materials. The time was not included with that information.
Okay, but the date was on the information.
The date was not included with that. Or sorry, the time, pardon me.
So you got a date of a collision but no time.
I did not have the time for that.
Do you think it'd be really, really unusual that a police report would not include the date and time that an accident occurred? A fatal accident, nonetheless?
I'm sure that the full police report included the time with the date and a lot of information, but I did not get full comprehensive police reports.
Well, you'd agree with me, Ms. Pescador, even the most basic face sheet or front page would have the date and time and location. Very basic information would be on any police record, right?
I'm sure. I'm confident that it does, but I did not receive comprehensive or full police reports for every single case.
So what did you receive?
I received limited information for each of these.
What was the source of the information?
I received it from the attorneys.
I'm sorry, that was a bad question. Did they give you actual police documents, or did they type something up and give you a narrative of their own?
Could you rephrase that?
Yeah. Let me show an example. Can you see this, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Does this look familiar? Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, this is a police report, right?
Correct.
Is this what you got from Attorney Wolf?
I did not receive something like that from Attorney Wolf.
What did you receive from Attorney Wolf?
I received a list of vehicle information, accident information, dates, vehicle numbers, and accident information with police report information from Attorney Pablo.
So he sent you basically Exhibit 610,
With more information.
but not important information that we've just discussed, correct?
Was not comprehensive police report information.
Did you follow up and say, hey, Attorney Galaviz, I need more. There's information missing here.
It was not like a comprehensive police report information, but it was a little more than this.
So your answer is no. You didn't ask Mr. Galaviz for more information, correct?
I'm sorry, could you please rephrase that?
Sure. You did not ask Attorney Galaviz for any more information about any of these vehicles in the pole barn, correct?
I can't recall. I have asked him for more information on several different subjects, including vehicles.
Okay.
But I can't recall if I specifically asked more about police reports for this.
Okay. So you said Detective Willis did not document any of this in his report, correct?
Correct.
But that's actually not accurate, is it? He did note that he was told the other vehicles in the barn were involved in fatal collisions, some of them, correct?
At the time of my report, I don't believe that's true.
You saw the police report that Investigator Willis authored, correct?
Which one?
The report that Investigator Willis authored. Did you see that?
The search report?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Could you please put up Investigator Willis' report for the witness only? Exhibit 123 is being displayed to the witness. You see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Page 1, and it's in the third paragraph on the page, the large paragraph on the bottom half of the page, about halfway down. It says he was informed some of the vehicles were involved in fatal crashes, correct?
Correct.
And you reviewed, didn't you, a report from Detective LaFleur documenting some of the vehicles that were in that barn, correct?
I don't recall reviewing a document from Detective LaFleur.
You didn't get that from Attorney Galaviz?
Not that I recall.
Okay. In fact, she was providing specificity for the two vehicles which Raven showed a change of behavior on. You remember reading that report?
Not that I recall.
Well, that would be an important piece of information for you to have had in your analysis, correct?
At the time that I wrote this report, I didn't receive that I can remember.
Have you received it since?
I'm sorry, not that I remember.
Okay. Maybe you don't know the answer to this then, but of your list on Exhibit 610, do you know which two vehicles are the ones that Raven showed a change of behavior to?
Is this regarding, okay, I remember this. This is regarding a Dodge Grand Caravan.
Answer the question, please, ma'am.
I'm sorry, can you please rephrase?
Sure. On list 610, which are the vehicles that Raven showed a change of behavior on? Can you identify them for the jury?
I don't have list 610 in front of me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we have to go back to defense table, please, because I don't have 610.
Yes, it's on mine. There's 2 pages, so if you want to ask her if there's any on there.
Sure. First, Attorney Wolf is displaying page 2 of 2. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Can you identify for the jury if any of these vehicles were the ones that Raven showed a change of behavior on?
No.
Okay, page 1. Oops, can you scroll so she can see the whole thing? The bottom's a little cut off there. Okay. Can you identify for the jury which of this list of vehicles Raven showed a change of behavior on from page 1?
Not specifically.
Okay. Now, you spent a lot of time, I'm sorry, I wanted to ask you about the last chart that Mr. Wolf put up that I guess you told the jury you drew it on a napkin, right?
True.
Okay, and then he typed it up for us?
True.
Okay. That was 614. You testified that every contact leaves trace, correct?
True.
Every contact between one item to another would leave trace.
True.
And it's true, isn't it, Ms. Pescador, that when the canine alerts, gives a trained formal alert, you don't know if that dog is detecting actual human remains, trace material, residual material. You just know the dog hits on what it's been trained to hit on, correct?
That could be the case.
Well, that is the case, right?
I can't say that.
Does your dog speak English?
It could be that it is smelling the target odor it was trained to indicate on, but that is not always the case.
My point is, let's say it's a training exercise, okay? Let's say we all know, Investigator Willis went out in the woods and hid a bone from a human, decomposing human remains, right? Let's assume that fact, right? And then he removes that bone, right? Raven goes out there and she hits right in that area. And we all know it's a good hit because we all saw him do it, right? Correct?
Correct.
Okay, you're shaking your head, yes, but
Yes.
the court reporter can't take down head shakes, so you have to verbally answer my question.
Of course, yes.
Thank you. When a actual search is done in the field and a dog hits, you don't know if they're alerting to a trace odor or a residual odor, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you spent a lot of time talking about blind searches and double blind searches, correct?
Correct.
Those are training methods, correct?
Correct.
Those aren't used for real searches in the field.
They're always blind in the field.
Yeah, exactly. Even in this case, right? Nobody knew, not Investigator Willis, not Detective LaFleur, not Detective Planis, not Detective Fredericks. Nobody knew if there was an odor of decomposing remains in Mr. Paul's truck, correct?
Nobody knew. Correct.
Not until Raven told them it was there, correct?
Correct.
And in your report, you use words, and I noticed you did this on your direct examination too. Well, he may have cued Raven, right?
Correct.
Or possibly there was cross-contamination, right?
True.
You don't know for sure.
That's true.
In your direct examination, you would say things like, I observed, correct?
Correct.
But in fact, you weren't there, right?
Correct.
So when you're saying, well, I observed that Raven turned at the exact same time Investigator Willis turned, what are you basing that on?
On what I read, I observed it in my reading.
Okay, so could we put up 123 again, please? And I'd like to go to page 2 of 123. And under the heading that says search 1, okay, you're with me. And the third paragraph, the third full paragraph, it starts out, Canine Raven continued. Ms. Pescador, would you read that paragraph, please, to yourself? And you see the third sentence there? Starts out, I observed a clear change of behavior from Canine Raven. You see that?
Yes.
And in fact, what Investigator Willis reported was that there was a change of behavior, an abrupt 180 turn by Raven, And then, after Raven quickly went back to that rear bumper area, that's when he began to walk away, correct?
This is missing context.
Pardon me?
It's missing context from the other documents I examined.
What else is there?
The testimony from the handler.
Okay. You weren't there, correct?
At the search?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. You opine that Raven may have been distracted by that movement from Investigator Willis, correct?
What do you mean?
You offered an opinion that that maybe distracted Raven.
Correct.
Okay. Did you see Investigator Willis's testimony before this court?
What do you mean?
Investigator Willis testified here last week. You're aware of that, right?
Last week?
Yes.
No.
You didn't know Investigator Willis testified as part of the state's case?
Well, I know that he would be, but I saw none of that. I read his the document that I was provided for this report, which was his Daubert hearing, his testimony for that.
Transcript from a pretrial motion,
Correct.
right? Okay. Jury's not here for that, right?
Correct.
Okay. But you didn't see his testimony last week?
Correct.
Were you present for it?
No.
Did you watch it online?
No.
You could have, right?
I guess I could have.
Okay. You know, at that Daubert hearing, the defense had a different expert witness, correct, that testified?
I'm aware of that.
That witness offered an opinion that there was no cueing by
Your
Investigator
Honor,
Willis,
objection for
correct?
relevance and admissibility and hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
I stopped at 3.
Training records, you were very critical of Investigator Willis's training records, correct?
I wouldn't say critical.
Okay. One of your observations, we'll call it, was that you only had 1 year's worth of training records to review, correct?
Correct.
Did you ever ask for more?
I asked why there weren't more.
Did you ask for more?
Yes.
Did you get them?
No.
Who'd you ask?
The attorneys.
Okay. Are you aware of the fact that the reason Investigator Willis only provided 1 year of training records is because prior counsel for Mr. Paul
Your
set
Honor, I'll
that
object
range?
for relevance and hearsay and admissibility.
Overruled.
Could you please repeat the question?
Sure. Let me ask you this way. You know, because you read the transcript from the pretrial motion, that there were some different attorneys representing Mr. Paul at one point, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, do you know that those attorneys asked for 1 year's worth of training
Your
records?
Honor, I'll object. Basically, Attorney Opera is testifying to things she already said she doesn't know.
Overruled. Can you answer the question, ma'am?
Could you please repeat the question?
Sure. Do you know the reason you only got 1 year's worth of training records from Investigator Willis is because that's what the defense asked for?
The previous attorneys?
Yes.
That is not what I'm trying to answer this properly. I
Okay.
apologize. That was not what I recall and remember Officer Willis testifying to, and I apologize. I don't want that to be hearsay.
Okay. So you really don't know why
Let's-
you were only given 1 year's worth?
Correct.
Okay. That's fair. All right, if you could please put up, well, Attorney Wolf, would you please kindly display 612 again for the witness?
Absolutely.
And I'd like to direct your attention to page 5 of 612. You have 612? Oh, do you want Ms. Gussie to do it? She's got it
That's fine.
handy. Okay. Page 5, please. And I'm going to ask to publish this page 5 to the jury, please, Your Honor.
Yeah,
And I'll object for relevance.
Overruled. You may.
Ms. Pescador, how much were you paid for your work in this case?
In total, about $13,000.
Okay. And you included this information in your report here?
Correct.
You aware of the fact that Investigator Willis receives no compensation for his work in this case?
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to have you do the redirect, but it's 10 o'clock and 9:58. Let's take a break till about 10:15, okay? All right, All right, have a seat, everybody. Ms. Pescador, you can step down. It's up to you. Okay. So we'll come back for redirect at 10:15. And in the meantime, I want you to continue your discussions with Mr. Paul about his right to testify or not to testify. And I do, before the jury comes back, so I have an idea of where we're going to go, I'll ask him again about that issue. The defense was given, Mr. Bailiff, how much time after court yesterday? Half an hour?
Yeah, it was shortly after 5.
About at least half an hour and at least half an hour this morning. And so you have a little bit more time. And I expect that should be sufficient time for him to answer the questions I'll have for him. So when we come back after the break, that's the first thing we'll take up before having Ms. Pescador return. Okay? Anything else from the state?
No.
Mr. Galaviz?
There is one thing, Judge, regarding that garage police reports. My name was mentioned by the prosecutor as to how I got that to Ms. Pescador. I think the jury should know that initially, when I got on this case in April, I noticed something wrong with that garage search. So I asked the prosecutors, could you please let me know what vehicles were in the garage at the time of the search? Or to identify those vehicles. They had no idea what those vehicles were. So I said, could you check with the sheriff's department? Because apparently that dog alerted on 2 vehicles. They asked apparently Deputy LaFleur. She had no idea what vehicles the dog alerted on. So we asked them, could you please get us those reports? They said they didn't have the reports, so we had to request the reports ourselves. So I got those reports, and I asked them, could you please have Detective LaFleur, review these reports and let us know which vehicle that the dog hit or semi-hit on in the garage. And she had no idea, Detective LaFleur, which vehicle the dog hit on. So then we got the report that the dog hit on the Caravan or this other vehicle. So then I asked, well, where were those vehicles parked in the garage? The ones that the dog apparently walked by. They had no idea. They don't know where those vehicles were parked. Were they close to Mr. Paul's vehicle, or were they farther away? They have absolutely no idea where any of these vehicles were in the garage, or if these vehicles were in the garage. And again, I had to pull teeth from them to get these police reports. So I'm upset. basically the way this picture that Ms. Oppers played with this witness regarding like these reports and how, like, I mean, it lays the wrong picture, and she knows it, I think. I don't know why she's playing games with this witness. I'd be glad to testify and explain to the jury exactly how I had to pull teeth from this office over here to get these reports, and how no one at that table or the detectives knew anything about these other vehicles that were involved in fatals. When I asked them, were any of these vehicles involved in fatals, and they, I think honestly told me, we don't know, until I got this report. And then I told them, I said, you know, a lot of these other vehicles, plus the motorcycles that were right by Mr. Paul's vehicle, were involved in fatals. In fact, a couple of those motorcycles were embedded into the back of a truck where the occupant died sitting on the motorcycle. And another motorcycle was involved in a hit and run where part of his arm went through the windshield of the vehicle. They had no idea that those vehicles were in the garage. So I'm not happy with the way Ms. Opper is attacking this witness, making her look like she's not aware of how these reports got in her hands, or what she was given or not given. I think I should testify if I need to. I think she's going over the line with this witness and trying to attack her, and inappropriately.
I believe the term was change of behavior. There wasn't any other hit or TFA is, I think, the term. So whatever you think you need to do, I'll leave it up to you. All right, see you.